You ever heard a marketing person say that you should be able to answer the question of what do you speak about in 30 seconds or less and give me the ROI? I need to know the ROI. How many times have you heard someone say you should be able to answer the question of what do you speak about in 30 seconds or less and give me the ROI? Is this one of those questions where it's just theory, or should you actually do it? Should you use it? What's the deal? I'm calling BS on this question. Think about it for a second. I mean, really think about it. Imagine Michael Jackson. Imagine he were to just sit on a train. Let's just say someone didn't know. And imagine someone said, hey, I heard the person over there said you're a musician. What do you sing about? Is there any possible way, any way he can communicate in 30 seconds or less that he's worth $1 million on stage? Is there any way? Any way? Absolutely not. There is no possible way he can communicate in 30 seconds or less. Even if he had 30 minutes, he can't communicate he's worth as much as he's asking for. As a speaker, how many times have you heard someone say that to you? You should be able to communicate 30 seconds or less what you speak about in the ROI. Even if you were to say, oh, I'm a sales speaker and I help increase your bottom line by 100%. I can double the sale. Even if you said something like that, what would really go on inside of the mind of the person hiring you? Number one, they'd be like, yeah, BS. Then whatever. We've been trying to think about this stuff for years, and here's a speaker who's going to come in for 60 minutes or so and turn around this whole thing that we've been thinking about for years. There's no possible way you can communicate your ROI in 30 seconds or less, or 30 minutes for that fact. Whenever someone asks you, what do you speak about? Whenever you make a claim, you have to prove it. When someone says, what do you speak about? There's absolutely nothing you can say that would convince them that you're worth $10,000, $15,000, whatever you charge. Nothing you can say, because you have to prove it. You have to show them video. They have to see it for themselves. And the bigger the claim, the bigger the proof. You have to know what it is they actually want from you. So who's this person talking to you? What do they want from you? If they're actually looking for a real keynote speaker, what do they want from that keynote speaker? Really, they kind of want entertainment in a way. If they're looking for a breakout speaker, what do they want? Really, they want just tons of content. What do they want from you as a speaker? So really, what's the answer to the question? When someone says, what do you speak about? First thing that should pop into your head is, why are they asking me? More often than not, they're asking you just out of formality. It's kind of like going up to someone and say, hey, how are you doing? You don't really care about how they're doing. They can say, oh, well, my mom died. I just had an accident. You don't really care about that stuff. When someone asks you, what do you speak about? They don't really care what you speak about. Most people are just asking out of formality. So you have to truly understand why they're asking you. If it is someone who can truly hire you, someone who's from a speaker bureau, and they're asking, now how do you answer that question? The key to answering that question is to talk about the experience you give as a speaker. Let's say you're a sales speaker and you say, someone says, what do you speak about? And you know, okay, this is a person who truly can hire a speaker. They truly can hire me. Now you answer with a real answer. Well, I'm a sales speaker, and but I mean, there are tons of sales speakers out there, and you know, like all the salespeople out there, they think they know everything. And my presentation, I mean, it's a hilarious presentation. I get these guys who've been selling for years, and I have them just cracking up, dying laughing. So if you're a funny speaker, you would talk about the experience of people laughing. Talk about the experience you provide. Usually when someone asks me, what do I speak about? I just say, yeah, I'm a keynote speaker, because I know they're asking out of formality. It's kind of like, hey, how are you doing? How's it going? It's just asking out of formality. The real question they're asking you isn't what do you speak about, but how are you different? That's why you talk about the experience. How are you different? So when someone says, what do you speak about? I personally talk about, it's like, I give a keynote presentation, but it's like keynote infotainment. So I combine this mind reading stuff that I do, and it's like really engaging, interactive. I talk about the experience and how I'm different. So that's the question you have to answer. When someone says, what do you speak about? You talk about the experience and how are you different. There is no possible way you can communicate an ROI in 30 seconds or less. You have to prove it. How many times have you ever seen a speaker who got hired simply because they answered the question of what do you speak about? No, the person said, oh, well, let me get your content. Let me look at your videos. Let me do this. So that's why they get hired. So just keep in mind, when people ask you, what do you speak about? Usually it's a formality. Really, they don't care. So let me ask you, what do you speak about?